Okay, this is going to be interesting to see if I'm actually going to hang in here with this. I don't know about this. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is going to be my review from Star Season 1, Episode 3. And the reason I'm saying this is I don't know that I want to hang in here with reviewing Star. Star, I don't mind. I'm going to definitely watch. You all know I do Lee Daniels. I ain't got no problem with Lee Daniels. But the writing on here is unrealistic. Um, the musical aspect is a bit corny. Uh, and I just don't really think that it's really review worthy. We know that I love Empire, and at times Empire pushes it. I don't have a problem with the dramatic and that kind of thing. And sometimes, it's soap opera. They're soap operas, so they are a little unrealistic. But some things are just so over the top. Whatever. Let's talk about it. I'm here for this review, so I'll decide what I'm going to do. But anyway, we start right off with they're at the hospital, and the youngest daughter is actually in the midst of cardiac arrest. Okay, so then there's this whole musical interlude with the mother singing, "You Come On With Me Into My Arms," and Star singing. She knows she's all in the white light situation. Star singing, "No, no, stay here with me. I need you." Ooh, okay. And as the weeks go on, I'm really noticing that Star sings worse than everybody in the whole program. Everybody in the program can outsing the character that plays Star. I don't know if that's her real voice or if even if she's lip syncing or whatever, whoever they got to play her voice, even her mother sang her ass off. I was like, Star is just as mediocre, child, but okay. While they were at the hospital, and of course they got her back. They resuscitated her. Carlotta and Miss Lawrence were actually having a little conversation. That's whose drugs it was. That's whose drawer, because I know whose drawer she had gone into. Those were Miss Lawrence's little drugs, honey. So the hospital was asking all these different questions. Carlotta had told a lie and said, I'm their mother, blah, 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 blah. And naturally, because if she said that she wasn't, social services would step right in and that would be the end of it. The hospital put a psych hold on her because they didn't know whether she was actually trying to commit suicide or if it was an overdose. Either way, there's questions that need to be answered. In the midst of all of that, Carlotta and her son, her baby girl, Amaya, her part, I can't think of what her name is in the movie or in the show, but she basically says, "Mommy, why did you lie and say that you were their mother? Do you really want to be their mother or something?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were around before you. It is what it is. They're young, this, that, the other, blah 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 blah. Their mother's gone." Well, she felt like it was the time to go ahead and roll out and let her mother know she was going to get her bottom surgery done and that she needed to kind of prepare herself and let go of this whole thing about Arnold, which is her real name. She's like, because Arnold is dead. And, it is what it is. I'm going to complete. I want my body to match what it feels like on the inside, on the outside. She told her, she had already done her research and So she said, "Isn't it the titties and the hair and the makeup enough?" It's like, no, girl, child, I want to be finished, honey. I want to be a real chick. I want to look like a chick, honey. I don't want to be looking like part of this and part of that. So she told her, she said, I didn't save up half of it. It was $20,000 to get the, my gender reassignment surgery, and I've saved up 10,000 of it. And she's like, you ain't saved up the $10,000 sitting at there answering my phone at the salon. And she told her, hey, we all do what we have to do. Now that's the real world, honey. I said, okay, all right. So she got that going on. Then Carlotta ended up going to the church and talking with Tyrese, with the pastor. Next thing I know, they end up in a lip lock. I said, oh, all right, for second phase with the pastor. So that was a mess. Um, his name is Hail, is what it is. I couldn't figure out what the fuck they kept calling that motherfucker. I thought they was calling him Hayella. Hail. He ended up getting some studio time set up for the girls. He got a little time set up for the girls. In the midst of it, remember, the nephew and his mother was like, get on it and go over there and see about him. So the nephew done showed up at the hospital trying to woo Star. And Star, she ready to fuck him on her own will. Not right now, but ready to string him along to try to get something from him and all that. She's always in horror mode. Always. Um, Hail, we end up finding out, I thought it was drugs he was going to be running, and so did he. But here it turned out it was a human trafficking situation. He ended up letting the girls go. He let them go. Um, Told his nephew to bam him in the face and mark him up. So it looks like he got jumped. He went to his connects and told him, I lost the shipment, this, that, thing, the other. Somebody pulled a gun out on me, beat the shit out of me, and they took him. you know. But he really did. He really turned him into the police and let the police take him. At the very end of the program, one of the girls, I don't know how they did that, one of the victims didn't go and deport back to where they were. They actually came and found him at his house. That's how that whole thing ended. I was like, oh, shit. It's like, there's going to be some problem with that. So I'm like, all right, here we go, where we got little plots that are going to drag on, I guess. Let's see. They wanted to bust the sister out because they needed to take the sister so they could do the demo. Child, Star knew about that. The other little girl, Lady Craven's daughter, she knew Big Boy, so they had actually rolled up on Big Boy from Outcast, and she talked him into doing some work with them. So they were going there first. They wasn't fucking with High Yield. They were like, whatever. They went on, busted the sister out of. They broke the glass, threw a brick through the glass at Carlotta's shop. So it would deter her and make her have to leave the hospital. When they did that, they broke into the hospital and broke the sister out of the psych ward. Okay, that's where y'all lost me. That's when I literally sat straight up and said, I ain't sitting there watching no shit like this. That's stupid. You don't break people out of the psych ward of the hospital. Not out of a regular room. They could have walked her out of a regular room, but you don't bust bitches out of the psych ward. Not like that. And Star in there posed up like she's some orderly or some child. No God. So that was just absolutely so fucking corny, and it pissed me off and made me start thinking. Moving on. Okay, so then they end up going to the studio. They're in the studio doing their little stuff. Carlotta done figured out where they were, which I don't know how she figured out where they were, but she figured out where they were with Big Boy. She busts up in there, and the song they were doing was real cute little song. I don't need a man, some shit. Carlotta breaks up in there. They start having this exchange back and forth. That motherfucking Star stood up there and told, because she got smart with Carlotta in the hospital, told her, "You're not our mother. You are our mother's best friend, and you should have saved us back then. Don't try to save us now." You know, I was like, "Oh, this bitch, she's foster child. Everybody owe you something, bitch. Everybody owe you nothing. Your mammy died. You were the responsibility of your mammy, bitch. Getting high was more important than that bitch died. Nobody owe you nothing, okay? Okay. Anyway, so her and Carlotta got into it again, honey, and she told Carlotta, honey, you're just jealous. You're jealous because she said she needs to talk to somebody. She needs to go through some counseling, and speak with somebody so she doesn't end up being an addict and everything because there's some problems going on. Because whenever they were in the hospital, the sister did actually open up and told Carlotta about how the foster father used to molest her. So she told her, honey, she said, you're jealous because I'm young and I'm sexy and I'm beautiful and just like my mother, and um, I have more talent than you ever did, just like my mother did. And honey, she told her, you're not your mother though, bitch. And your mother wasn't nothing but a damn junkie. And I watched her fucking die. So really? So back that shit on up. I said, oh. And she don't know Carlotta will stretch her the fuck out with her smart ass mouth. So I'm like, I'm getting to have enough of that. That's getting on my nerves. Stars on my nerves. She be doing too much, for real. Somebody gonna fuck her up. Somebody gonna stretch her motherfucking ass out of her toes pointing at the moon if she don't watch it. A smart ass mouth. So that was that. And she told her, she got to go back to the hospital, or in a half hour, social services is gonna get involved. So that's that. So they took her ass back to the hospital. Now here's where it got fucked up again. When I was like, okay, so I laid back down and I kept watching. Then the next thing I know, we'll just take the mountain to the problem. And Star and a little black girl and High Heel took themselves down to the hospital into the psych ward down. And it just so happened that the pastor came around the same time and told Carlotta to come take a walk with him. So she goes to take a walk. They come in there with equipment, honey, and they in there laying the track for the little demo that they was trying to get in to go to the competition in Atlanta. So they're in the hospital, in the psych ward, in the room, laying the track, making all that noise. Who do you think you're talking to, Lady Daniels? Who do you think you're talking to, honey? Now stop. That was too motherfucking corny. Too corny. And it would have been much more interesting if y'all would have just cut the sister out. Cut the sister out, and then that would have been a whole nother plot line that you could have went another way about how to fit her back in once they see that they really don't need her, possibly. That'd have been a whole nother issue. But anyway, I'm not writing it. It's not my story. But what you did was corny as fuck. And it made me think, do I want to continue watching or not? Because it kind of pissed me off. It was very lazy, and I thought it was very corny. But anyway, okay, moving on. So that was that. And then it was a whole music video. When they were doing laying their track in the hospital. It was a music video. They all had on hospital gowns, onesies, and denim thigh-high boots. The boots were cute, but I'll tell you what it reminds me of, and then you have to be an older person, honey, to remember a show back in the day that Tisha Campbell was on called Rags to Riches. It was a movie, it was a made-for-TV movie, and then they changed it into a television show. And I was in my teen years. I was like 15, 16, 17 when this was on, and I loved that show. I'm 45 now. This shit ain't cute. This shit is dated, and it's late. But it does. It reminds me of Rags to Riches. I wonder if there's any episodes of that. I haven't looked that up on YouTube, see if there's any episodes. But that's exactly what the show reminds me of. But the musical production for Rags to Riches was actually better. It was very much an updated version of like Annie. This ain't that. This is a watered down version of fucking Empire. But anyway. All right, I'm done with it. They got the demo in, and they did make the deadline. So next week they'll be going to Atlanta. Honey, the foster father's on his way, so we'll see what's going to happen. All right, later, y'all. Bye.